The final of 9 races. There's ice on the top of the camera. I'm not kidding. But we are at the finale. The Chelmsford City Racecourse.com handicap. And it's over a mile and 2 furlongs. We started with 10 furlongs. We finished with 10. And here's number 5. This is Far Horizon for Michael Scudamore and Aidan Keeley. Now, he's suddenly come into form. He started life in bumpers. Never really worked out for him in that sphere. But he showed plenty more last time. And especially the win at Lingfield in a 3 to 5-year-old novice can be upgraded, given that he had to come wide to make his challenge. And he was strong at the line. It was a bit of a shock, 20 to 1. So it's... you could definitely give him a chance in here. The market certainly says so. Michael Scudamore's in attendance, and he's a fascinating contender. Behind him is number 6. Number 6 is They Don't Know in the red rug at the moment. Dara Keenan for Darrell Holland. He just hasn't quite managed to get that win, has he? That elusive win. It's still, well, it eludes him, but he's been showing enough form to suggest that he could make an impact in this, and the market's very much agreeing as well, because he's around about third in for Dara Keenan. Darrell Holland also in attendance. Plenty of stuck on for this final. Not many punters, but the connections definitely have. They should get an OK pace to aim at as well. That could be the key to a few of them. Rhubarb Bikini is heading out. We can catch up with him down at the start. So we can just see on the far side, number 1. Number 1 he's about to get the leg up, and he's a fairly big price as well. Yeah, he's a bit of a hard sell for me, Vidharta. Danny Muscat from Marco Botti. Perhaps he can maybe show more from a handy draw, but cheap pieces go on to try and settle him, and that's going to be the key effect for him. Behind him is number 7, that's Copper Knob, 3-year-old colts for Tom Quealy and Gary Moore. 170 days away. He's returning to the track now, and in truth, before last time, he had been disappointing that he hadn't been able to get off the mark, but that changed at Brighton. He was very well fancied to get off the mark, and he duly did in good style over 10, and maybe that sparks something in him now. We will see. There's only a couple more to go out. That includes, on the far side, who will be the last horse to go out of the paddock, just about to pass the winner's podium, just behind number 8, in the mauve colours, is the headline horse of the race, so to speak. That's Stormcatcher. David Probert, Simon Pearce looking for a quick fire double. He's 1 from 4 on the flat. He was off the mark on a debut in a weak enough maiden at Kempton in April 2021. And while he didn't take to hurdling, his return at Lingfield couldn't be missed. He was very eye-catching after 282 days off. If that's blown the cobwebs away, and he can translate that form over to here, then he might be a winner again off a likely good pace, a good enough pace at the trip from Rhubarb Bikini, who doesn't really stay 10 furlongs, but usually ensures there's a good enough gallop in here. So you've seen the main contenders for our 9th and final race, 0 to 75, Chelmsford City Racecourse.com handicap, over 10 furlongs.
an intriguing way to end the evening because, once again, there are one or two horses that are come in for a bit of support, particularly the Bay Warrior, who is into 6-1, 9-1 into 6s for the Bay Warrior. Clearly a horse that enjoys this particular course and distance. And back here at Chelmsford, that could be a big factor in why this horse's price has contracted. The favourite is Stormcatcher at 3-1, looking to give Simon Pearce a double after Full Intentions gambled on success in our penultimate race. Far Horizon has just eased a fraction out to 4s, 9-2 They Don't Know, Copper Knob 6-1, same price as the Bay Warrior, Vedata 70-2 along with Chateau d'If, and Rhubarb Bikini, the outsider, at 25-1. It's a good race to finish with, George, and again another one that you can make a fair case for a few of them.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a couple in here that look like they're on sort of upward profiles, and that's coincided with sort of running in handicaps and stepping up and trip and so forth. I thought Far Horizon, Gelder Son of Free Eagle was very, very good performance to win. Not a deep race, but get the job done at a decent price at Lingfield over the 8 furlongs, sort of mid-November, and he travelled really strong on that occasion, and it was sort of got the hang of things. You know, he's lightly raced on the flat, and I thought the step up 2 furlongs would be a plus, and he's sort of given an opening mark of 71. I think that's definitely workable.
Okay, there are a number of horses that you can, as I said, you can make a case for. Can you see the reason why the Bay Warrior has been the subject of all that support? I think he's just eased a fraction now, but had earlier come into 11-2. I think he was around 6.5-1 on the exchanges.
Short answer, no. I can't. He's coming back after he's been off the track for 128 days. We know he's effective on the all-weather surface. The sort of 10 furlong setup here is ideal for him. He's off a mark of 63, which is £2 higher than when winning earlier in the year. So this setup here suits, but you're taking it on face value. He's been off the track for a good while. He's pretty straightforward in regards to he likes to roll along and keep things straightforward. He was seen on very heavy ground last time at Foss Lass when running at a big price and just running okay. And the time before that running a slightly better grade at Newbury. So he's obviously been working well at home and been given good indications.
Okay. In summary, the winner is?
I'm going to go with Far Horizon. He's a lightly raced, and I thought that performance at Lingfield was good. Yeah. And step up 2 furlongs I think will help, and he might just be sort of well in as such. Okay.
The step up and trip, as George says, may well suit this Son of Free Eagle, Far Horizon, in this finale. Anthony, this race I think has been probably one of the hardest ones to solve because of the imponderables involving a couple of horses coming back after a bit of a layoff.
Very much agree, Rishi, very much agree. I think the fight for the top of the market, I thought, I mean, you could have been fairly confident it would have gone Stormcatcher's way after the performance last time, but Far Horizon I don't think should be too far off, and he isn't. I think stepping up to 10 is very much going to suit him. I thought he had to do a fair bit to manage to get up and lead in the last strides at Lingfield, and 4-1 is fair enough on what we've seen. They Don't Know he's a very interesting contender as well, and a bit of a price. Well, he was more of a price, but the Bay Warrior is a really interesting contender, and the support for him can't be ignored. With our thanks, up to John Hunt for the last.
Thank you ever so much. Safe home. Ready now, and they're off and racing. Trip is 1.25 miles. There was an awkward start there from Copper Knob. Bit slow away as well, just taking a little bit of time to get motivated. And the Bay Warrior was also one of the slowest ones out of the gate. But away sharply enough is Rhubarb Bikini to take the field past the judge for the first time. Chateau d'If is now coming through to go second early, with Vidhata in behind those in third. They Don't Know, ridden now by Dara Keenan on the outside, comes next, together with Far Horizon on the rail. Small break to Stormcatcher, who's just ahead of the Bay Warrior, and our back marker is Copper Knob, still detached by a couple of lengths, and Tom Greeley just intermittently having to work away on him as well. They turn left-handed, and they're going towards the back straight now for one final time in the Chelmsford City Racecourse.com handicap. The leader is Rhubarb Bikini. He's a length and a half in front. Chateau d'If and Vidhata are still absolutely together for second place. Then They Don't Know on the outside. He comes next. Far Horizon is still against the rail and travelling fine. They're followed by Stormcatcher, who's out wide. Towards the inside is the Bay Warrior, and Copper Knob has caught up a bit now, although still just about last of all. The leader is Rhubarb Bikini, only narrowly though as they head towards the final two turns of the night. Second place for Chateau d'If, and then Vidhata in behind those, racing along in third place. Vidhata is followed by They Don't Know. Far Horizon comes after those, and then Stormcatcher, who's going fine. Stormcatcher followed by the Bay Warrior, and once again Copper Knob is under heavy pressure, still in last place. They turn now for home. The 2 furlong marker is in sight, straightening up Rhubarb Bikini. But here is Vidhata, about to come and try and challenge. Widest on the track is They Don't Know with Chateau d'If, and now Stormcatcher working its way through a gap out wide as well. Far Horizon is plugging on pretty nicely too as they race now. All changed inside the final furlong now. Stormcatcher leads, drift over towards the inside rail. Vidhata, not much room in behind them on the rail, still battling away as the Bay Warrior, but at the line it's Stormcatcher. Stormcatcher from the Bay Warrior, and in behind those, Far Horizon.
A double in the last 2 races for David Probert and Simon Pearce, and a famous double at that as well. 2 well-backed horses, Stormcatcher, the second leg of them. The Bay Warriors run really well in second as well. Far Horizon the same, and while the winner has edged over and maybe caused a little bit of interference, he was by far the best horse in this. And plenty in with chances as well, coming up to the line. 7-2 favourite in the end. Well placed once again by David Probert. Rhubarb Bikini took them along as you would expect, as he always does. At this point, he's still got a fair bit to do, and he's had to be a little bit lucky to get the gap when he did. But when he did, the wide outside was very much the place where he was able to make most of the impact. Clear run on the wide outside, just maybe for a stride, or maybe not so much actually. He was, whatever happened, he was the best horse in this race. He certainly caught the eye on his return at Lingfield, and 3 weeks later, just under 3 weeks later, he is back in the winners' enclosure for the first time when ridden by David Probert, and that was on his debut at Kempton. That looked a weak race by and large, and he'd been working up to something like this. It's good to see him back in this kind of winning form, and probably, Rishi, this probably won't be the last we've seen him in this winter, and the last time we've seen him in winning form as well. I mean, he's got the job done nicely in the end.
Yeah, he had 9 months off and didn't run too badly at Lingfield a couple of weeks ago. We had a bit of ground to make up, and on this occasion he was in a much better position to strike late on, and he's won fairly comfortably in the end. I thought Far Horizon, George, has run well, but he was always in a little bit of a pocket, and I think there's more to come from him.
Yeah, I agree. I think Aidan Keeley was tight for room and looking for room to go forward, and it just never really opened up, and I think his gelding just struggled to sort of get into a good rhythm up the home straight. But to be fair, I thought the winner, Stormcatcher, under a hands and heels drive from David Probert at the top of the straight, very, very smooth to get to the front when peeling off that last bend, and fair play to Simon Pearce and the team. They've had a good evening.
They have indeed. Copper Knob was a bit awkward coming out the stalls for Tom Quealy. Look at the second and third. At the moment, they're running the rail. The Bay Warriors second to last at the moment. Far Horizon is just ahead of the Bay Warrior. But Stormcatcher is in a decent position, and the pace of the race allowed horses at the back of that group to get into it late on.
Yeah, Rhubarb Bikini under Kieran O'Neill in customary style rolled along on the front end and ensured an even gallop to run at, which is ideal on the weather. And you can see the first 3 cluster are sort of mid-pack towards the rear of the bunch, which would indicate the race is